I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish all the subscribers and viewers of the channel Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm overwhelmed with the number of people who do watch some of my videos, which are really just a video log of the sort of things I'm interested in doing. And obviously some of you share the joy that I've had over, well, it's coming up to nearly 2 years. I didn't do a review video last year, but I thought maybe this year I would nip through some of the videos that I've done and give you a little bit of an update where it's needed. I had hoped to do a longer video for December, but unfortunately illness has prevented that, so I will try during the year of 2022 to keep up my video a month, or a topic a month. Sometimes they can be longer. So look forward to seeing you in 2022. And don't think I've worn this one before. This is the, for those who don't know, Infinite Imaginations was the name of the trading company I ran. Of course, one of the first things the accountants did when they came into Gilsoft was sack me, and I set up myself as a business programmer, supplying Gilsoft just like any other. So this one, along with the great poster that Terry Greer did for us for the Adventure Systems and the original Quill logo. I've made those t-shirts available because a couple of people asked about them, and I was especially honoured that Noel's Retro Lab, Noel actually got one of the Quill t-shirts and showed it on a recent video on his channel. So exposure. So I mean, they are available if anybody wants them at timgilberts.com. But you know, obviously they help with a couple of beards for the channel, but mainly so that you can get access to that great artwork. So without further ado, let's to use another one of my favourite Adrian's terms. Let's have a little look at what we've done over the 2 years. It's hard to believe it's been nearly 2 years I've been doing this channel now. And it started with me lying resting up after an illness, and the first video was edited on the iPhone, I think, which shows how powerful a tool it is. So let's take a little look at what's been on the channel and some updates. So see you all in 2022. Yeah, so the first video which I referred to I did was back in February of 2020, just before we got hit with this human virus. But it was about the sort of joy I had of getting the Next and working finally the Interface One and the microdrive. It cost the life of a single Interface One ULA, but it was worth it, I think, and it was a really rewarding bit of work with some of the people like AA and Charlie Ingley, who really understand these devices, and me doing some testing and probing and poking. So that was that's been quite a popular video on the channel, of course, because the Next is quite a popular one. So the second video I did, which was in April, was the same, was similar idea. I took out my old Curro Micro Speech, and we had the video called The Spoken Next, which for some unknown reason I shot in ultra high definition and then turned it into a funny colour one. But there was a bit of a gap then, because obviously we had the viral outbreak, and I started picking up on the Scrumpy. Now the Scrumpy is been for those who haven't seen the videos, is an SCMP based computer, and it's got a fascinating background. It's well worth watching the short video on at least the introduction, because unfortunately the designer of it, John Kirkpatrick, died very young. And he really had a sort of quite good machine a couple of years before Clive Sinclair launched anything, and was probably well on the way to having a good range of UK computing kits. So I followed that up with a very short 4-minute video then on the breadboard version of the Scrumpy that I'd built to prove the design so that Phil could get the PCB done. And I haven't really covered anything more on the channel about it, but research has been carrying on. If you go to scrumpy.uk, you can download a PDF version of the current research booklet, and there's been some very interesting developments actually, if you don't know, if you haven't been following the thread, because what turned up was a Scrumpy 2. It turns out that the Scrumpy 2 wasn't actually designed by John McPatrick. It was he was done by a science student at Birmingham University, Mark Phillips, and he's still got the original, a lot of the paperwork and documentation, so expect to see quite a bit of that coming out as information and research, and probably do a video on that. It's quite an interesting topic. Obviously the SCMP chip itself is in the MK14 as well, which is actually where it originally started from, my interest in that particular chip and decision to have a go at the Scrumpy early on. So there is a short video on there of the MK4 to my MK14 reconstruction with my video card and Sirius's Pi uploader on a breadboard running, which shows the Falling Man demo, which was done by Nick Toop, who designed it. So again, it's only a minute video. The early videos were very much just little short looks into it. Now, funny enough, by one of the other big ones that really did was the August 2021, which was refelt in the microdrive, and that proves quite popular even today. A lot of people still watch it, so hopefully that's proved useful for some people, and did allow me to recover quite a lot of the data I had on microdrives, including some pictures drawn by our Danish distributor and my father, which was nice. So the MK14 work, golly, it's a wet Christmas day, isn't it? Christmas Eve, isn't it? Look at this. Absolutely torrenting down out there. So where were we? Yeah, the sort of, there are a couple therefore of follow-ups which will go on to relating to my interest in the MK14, but by September 2020 we came to one of the most popular updates actually, which was I've got a microprocessor development kit which I picked up on the Free Friday at the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge, which was great, and I intend to restore that to full working. And one of the things I did to start with was to do a Grant Searle Simple Z80 board, which I managed to buy on the Bay, and built it up, and the video proved very popular actually, and still gets views now today. So what we're going to do now is going to take a little bit of a look at an update at what I've done with the microprocessor development kit, because I've got a different direction I'm going to take it in, and a little bit of an update on the Grant Searle Simple Z80, because different Phil to the Grumpy, has on his channel been covering some updates he's been doing to his Z80 version of it, based on work he's been doing with some of the stuff we'll come to later. So let's take a quick look at a short video on where I'm going with the microprocessor development kit. But I was always, the fact that it had these side particular cards in, I was sent a great little card from one of the guys on the forum, Phil, and he called it the Quid board. I don't know what it actually is, a Sanderson Z80. So it's got a real CTC and several serial outputs on it driven, space for some EPROMs, and I would get rid of the power supply on it, I think, because it's looking a bit ranked up and doesn't need it. We'll get the power supply running in the actual computer. Or maybe I'll use the one on the Quid board for the moment while we get that main supply safely sorted, because that needs some an isolation transformer and some work. But so it fits in absolutely spot on. In fact, if we took the power unit off, I'd be able to get two of those Quid boards in the same device, so we could have a twin processor Z80 microprocessor development system maybe, and obviously perhaps then get that cassette interface card we talked about working. So that could be quite interesting, I think. So obviously we'll see how it goes. So Phil has also followed up, as I said, on the Grant Searle Simple Z80. So just a quick look at his website, which you can find the link to probably below the video, and he's done quite a bit now to provide a machine code monitor and allow it. He's just recently also posted he's put a memory backed RAM on it, so converted it to the 64K version, and he's got a pair of those, so he's basically got two RAMs you can bank in. You've got Star Trek in one and the other, so well worth following his updates either on the Vintage Radio forum or his website, and it is worth burning those into the ROM. EEPROM, I did the same. I've put his extra updated firmware in, and it works really well. I actually found a fault on my board. One of the pins was loose. Took me ages to find it. I was going to make a video over it, but it wasn't that interesting. So, but just watch it. Those pins, when they fit in that tight, they don't always make a good connection. So, unfortunately, now we come on to the sort of one of the saddest parts of 2020. and I posted a video in October showing the Orton View running MK14 software. Now, for those who don't know, that's a reproduction using the PIC chip of the video card for the MK14, and it was the very last project that Karen Orton worked on. Between a few of us on the forum, she was literally on her deathbed of trying to get it finished, with us rapidly building copies of the board and designing them. I have got quite a bit of footage of the original development work, and when I get time I will put all that together as a bit of a story of the creation of the Orton View. But it's I'm hoping she managed to see that video running, and I'm fairly certain she did, and she passed away about a week later, unfortunately, but the project was working, and it's actually still ongoing. If the Vintage Radio Forum, Slothy's done a PCB layout for it, and I've got a built-up PCB, which hopefully there'll be a picture inserted somewhere up on the side there to show you what it now looks like. And good progress has been made in that, which also incorporates the 1.5K memory expansion and makes it much more usable, which is nice to see that carrying on. So then I sort of turned my effort to the ETI Triton, which was the subject of 2 videos in early December of 2020, and I won't repeat those here. They're quite well done. They're only short, 3 and 9 minutes long, but they were the sort of that was my major project moving forward. I did an update in May, which is probably of 2021. That's worth looking at. At the moment, the project's stalled, waiting for the case to be built. I've got almost everything now, but I need to make the case, which means I need to get some metal folded and some wooden sides cut. So that's hopefully a project will come up in 2022. So the main video for December 2020 was the December video on the Sanyo MBC 555, which is the DOS-based computer that's still on my desk, actually, that we used at Gilsoft, and that's been a fascinating machine. I love that sort of early. It is an 8-bit because it's an 8088 processor, so it's well worth watching that. That was probably one of the longer videos I'd done. I think 25 minutes. It's probably the most significant one I did that year, and that was really when I started to sort of think about making these videos as more than just little logs. And then we come on to what I had to do in January, which was it's probably the longest video I'll ever do. It's 52 minutes, but it is broken up into various sections with an index, so you can jump to any part you like. And that is the On the Table episode I did of all the different SCMP based computers that Karen had built over her life, and I was lucky enough to pick them up from her daughter, and I've got most of them here. Some have now gone to other homes where they were she'd wanted them to go to. Phil in France has got the original PIC 14, yeah. And then yet again, Phil from Vintage Radio has been following up on the Pickle, which was one of the projects of Karen's, and he's done this lovely little PCB version of it, which is great, nice and easy to use. Just basically a PIC and a battery back RAM and some LEDs programmed. I've got it. He puts a little board on there. I use just a serial to USB adapter, TTL serial, some buttons, but it runs. It originally put page 2 on it, but it is a bit smaller memory for that. So it is purely just the Pickle board for running the basic, but also now he's added in a machine code monitor tool as well that he's written himself, which is really nice. So they're a great little project to build as well. Again, I'll link to his page on that one. And again, lovely to see some of Karen's work in that area moving forward. And becoming accessible, because it's still a really easy way to experience the SCMP, and genuinely in the sort of form factor of a probably an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi or something like that. So by March of 2021, I put out obviously to correspond to ZX81 40th birthday, what has become trying to be my standard length, 25 minutes. Sometimes I've stretched to 30, sometimes it drops to 20, but I'm trying to keep it at around the 25 minutes to half an hour video length. Was the ZX81 40th birthday party with Meccano added, which is another one of the ones that picked up quite a lot of viewers for some reason. So obviously just the topic really, and it was me dismally failing to load from cassette, as loads of viewers pointed out I probably had the volume up too loud. So I need to have another go at that. It's quite a bit of work to do on that. I've been repairing the 16k RAM packs, so I've got quite a bit of video of that, but I haven't done an update yet. Then we had the two-part how my electronics hobby began. That was me chancing on the Bayer purchase of a electronics kit which I had back as a child, and that was great fun to go through and look at the history of Leeway toys and their German origins to a Canadian firm who then provided them to the UK to Leeway. And actually then I did a lot later video which we'll pick up on, because it turns out they also supplied Tandy in the US. As I said, in May then we had the quick update on the Triton progress, and in May of course started one of the biggest projects I had in 2021, and I'm not going to go through them all, but there were quite a few videos on the Heath kit sat behind me, we did quite a bit with the memory and all the parts. But I did a special as well, a one-off in July, which looked at how to use a logic analyzer to find faults on these sort of machines, which is an interesting acquisition I made of an older logic analyzer, which was really came at exactly the right moment to do it because I needed that many channels. So by July I'd got it to a point where, although the H9 terminal wasn't working, we were able to do the what I originally wanted to do, which is to play the earliest copy of Adventure available on a home computer kit, admittedly quite an expensive one that was available in the US and was American made, but was available in Britain as a kit from some couple of stores in the UK. So it would have been the earliest machine with a distro you could have tried to play that on. So it was great fun to do, a little bit of dressing up, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, in the history of adventure games as well. So then we went on to the sort of Attic Attack ones, the August 2020 Attic raids, and I found all these wonderful electronics catalogues. I did a bit of a follow-up to it later on with all the magazines in October, and I just great fun looking through those, and quite a few people have said they enjoy looking through those. There's a lot of Attic finds to come. There's actually two really nice ones. This one I loved is a set of badges, which I found in one of my memory boxes, with Highsoft were the supplier of our development tools, and of course there's a couple of other things. The Cub badge there from just picked up at shows, so I thought they'd be interesting. And these, let's run a little bit of video what I found. Just some funnies I found from the old days, Killsoft International signs. With the mail order department, that's quite clever. Obviously there was a doorway to the private flat. We had a reception area for people who called, and of course my mum had a desk, and so did my dad. What great little items to find, yeah? So never know what you're going to find. Now, September I'd managed to get quite up to date and have quite a few videos in the pipeline ready to go, but I burnt through them probably a little bit quick because we had Septandy coming up, and I upgraded my Dragon to 64k of RAM, so it was sort of a faux Septandy. I mean, it's related, but it wasn't really the Septandy video, but I wanted to get it out in that month. So that was turned into quite an interesting one, with the grumpy old dragon moaning about what I was doing to it. So I quite enjoyed doing that one. It was a bit of fun. And my new electronics workshop I'm setting up in the spare room, which makes things a lot easier to work on, and hopefully you'll see some videos from that area increasingly appearing, rather than here in the study, which is a little bit more difficult to work on electronics in.
And obviously I summarised where we were with the Heathkit in part 7 and the H9, and started to look at the extracting the ROM contents and making sure they were all okay, and maybe looking at the programmed logic chips. But I didn't really get that far, unfortunately, because that's when sort of illness set in and things were a bit more difficult to do and achieve. Although I did manage to get out the another very popular video, the Sir Clive tribute, which I just had to do. I mean, he changed my life, and it was a bit of a shock. We knew he'd been ill for a long time, but I really learned to program on his Sinclair Cambridge calculator, and I think it's one of the few videos on actually showing one being done to run a program. So I think it's one I actually wrote as well and put in the notes in the book. So again, I'm trying to cover topics that I don't find anywhere else, because there's a lot of videos around on YouTube, but I'm trying to cover things that I think need to be preserved. And as I said, we had then pretty much the one I was quite pleased with, Septandy, which is the examination of all the online catalogues for where those science kits came from, because of course I had acquired what they called a computer. It's the Logic Cosmos one, and during that video I do actually put that back. It's actually a logic trainer using lights and bulbs, but it's a fascinating watch if you're really interested in this sort of things, and a surprising find of an analog computer. So I did enjoy that. In update, I've since bought, and we'll probably insert a little bit of film here, I've tried to complete the set of those kits. So I now have pretty much the 5 that were common, the larger ones.
So I've already unpacked them, but it's the original electronics set, and of course I was lucky enough to get the electrics and the optics and the aeronautics. So the aeronautics is a complete set with all the it's still shrink wrapped with all the balsa wood. A little bit of damage to the outer box, but the back is all the plans for building the plane. The same for the optics set, which I probably won't be building. You remember the electronic when it started it. The optics has got the same, because it's all shrink wrapped with telescope and bits and pieces in, so which is lovely. So I might get the books out just to have a little look at them. And of course the original electric set, which is a pretty complete one, although some parts have been built. Needs a bit of a clean up and a bit of work on it. But the nice thing about that is it came in the original shipping carton, which was from Leeway Toys. So I'll think that with the computer and its book, make a really nice set of toys anyone would be pleased with.
From Logic's Cosmos. Not that I intend to build the optics and the aeronautics ones, but we probably will see something on the electric kit as well, because it's got some fascinating stuff in it. And then we had November, which was the next Saves the Train game that was done as part of the Kickstarter and then made public. As I said, I had great plans for a December video, but unfortunately I'll have to wait till next year now. And hopefully you found this little summary of the and updates from the various videos useful. And we'll see you in 2022 for some great videos. I've got a massive stack of projects behind me. I mean, there's a 7768 computer to build. I've got a Cosmac Elf. We haven't seen some of the other bits I got, like the Acorn System 1 kit. I'd probably try and do a little bit of a look at the various projects early in 2021 and sort of lay out where we're going to go with them. And obviously I'll keep on working on the Scrumpy 3 reverse engineering. If you haven't seen it, then and it's worth another little update, there is an emulator for the Scrumpy 3 available, and Paul Robson had done a similar sort of reverse engineering effort to me, and got in contact and then put it up publicly available, because he'd got quite a long way on an emulator, so he'd gone down the software route rather than my hardware route. So together that provides quite a bit of detail, and there's a link into the Vintage Radio Forum post that's tracking that. So we'll see you all in 2022. Have a great new year. Thanks for watching. I'm Tim Gilbert, and this is my channel on retro computing.